Hello everyone, it's Lorica here. I hope that you are all doing very well. Today I want to talk about my trip that I took to Stockholm. Um, I can't believe it's almost 2 weeks ago now that I came back. I went for 4 or 5 days and it was so lovely. It was super cold because it had also just snowed before I arrived, and so I didn't walk as much as I was hoping I would, but it doesn't matter because the streets were very icy. So I didn't want to risk falling. it's it's slippery, like your when you put your foot down and it just keeps going. so so I walked, but I was very careful where I walked. My goal was just to explore Stockholm a bit by myself. I've been there a few times with my husband, so I wanted to just see by myself a few places. I'm going to show you some of the photos and videos that I took while I was there, and I visited a few bookshops. So I hope you enjoy this video, and before I start I'm going to show you how it looks outside my window. A very snowy day. It's so pretty. We've had so much snow this year, it's crazy. But it's lovely. I love the snow. It's such an experience for me. So yeah, enjoy the video. I will show you at the end of the video a few of the books that I bought while I was in Stockholm. I left really early in the morning. It's just after 6 to catch the train to Hässleholm. It was so quiet and peaceful on the train that time of the day. And I travel actually very light. I only had a small backpack and then my normal handbag, shoulder bag. And then pretty soon it started to get light, and it was just this beautiful winter landscape. The journey took about 4 hours one way from Hässleholm, and then you arrive right in at Stockholm Central, right in the middle of the city, which was perfect. This is inside Stockholm Central Station. And the first thing I did was I went and hunt down something to eat. So I had a McDonald's, a cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke. My first bookshop stop was at Encore Nordiska Kompaniet, which is a department store, very fancy in Stockholm. And they have at the top floor, they have a bookshop. I stayed in Gamla Stan, which is the old town, in a hotel called the Victory Hotel, which was all like shipping kind of theme throughout the hotel. It was absolutely lovely. The receptionist brought me a nice cup of tea because I was super cold to warm up. I finished drinking it by then. So you can see everything in this hotel is just to do with shipping and sailing, and it had all these old paintings and stuff that sailors collected and made, and it's just lovely. I was just one flight up, and each of the rooms have got a name of a shipping captain. So I stayed in Captain Larsson, my room. I booked a single room and it was just perfect. It was like a proper little retreat. It was just a single bed, a little desk, a place to sit, a window, and then a bathroom with a shower. And the whole room is themed for this Captain Larsen. It was just lovely. I even had a little glass of port for me at this hotel. And then also on each floor, there was this tea and coffee facility that you can make yourself some tea or coffee if you want. The breakfast area had this really old stones, really, really old. Some of the oldest building below the stones was found that was built in Stockholm. So it's really a very, very old building. And I saw the changing of the guard on Gamla Stan. It was pretty cool to see. I just by accident came across it. I walked through all the little streets, and as you can see, it was super icy, but it was so, so pretty. And that brings me to the second bookshop, which I couldn't go into because they were closed. They weren't open, they only open on weekends, and I wasn't there over the weekend. But it's a crime bookshop on Gamla Stan. And it just looked really so pretty. So I really wanted to go, but it's okay. I could look at it from the outside. Really a lovely little shop. And the next bookshop was Gamla Stan's bookhandel, where they had a lot of variety of books as well. Really lovely inside. And they had the little doggy that stayed there and slept nice and warm indoors. Also, totally recommend this bookshop. And then my final two bookshops took me to Södermalm, an island next to Gamla Stan. It was a beautiful walk there. So the first bookshop was Södermalm Bookhandel, and it's been there since 1927. It's a really old bookshop, and it's so, so lovely inside. So many books. I bought one book there, and really lovely, a lovely place. It's packed with books. Fantastic. The final bookshop I went to was at Libri's Pocket. It's kind of almost opposite the previous bookshop, and it was so lovely in there. I bought two books there. The lady was the best bookseller that I've met in a long time. And then on the afternoon of my last day, I went to the Postal Museum. It was such a cool experience. I'm just going to let you watch by yourself.
Tjingeling ses längre fram.
On my way back home, it was wonderful to visit Stockholm, but it was just as good to get back and go back home. So, here are the books that I bought while I was in Stockholm. So, the first book I bought was from Bookhandel in Södermalm, and it's written by an Argentinian author called Fernando Strigotti, and it's called A Foreign Country is the Past. And it's just really what I like about it is very plain. I love these kind of simple covers, and I just opened the book. I pulled it off the shelf and I opened the book, and I started reading. The telephone goes off while Grandma washes the dishes and Grandpa watches the tally. No one ever calls this late, except for Anna's mother. So they stare at each other without uttering a word and let the phone ring, and it feels like it could ring itself off the hook. Eventually, Grandpa gets up, gets his cigarette on the rests his cigarette on the ashtray, and walks to the telephone, mumbling something. He lifts the receiver and says yes a couple of times while the cigarette ashes dangle dangerously. He listens for a few seconds and then he says, heading there, and hangs up. So hard the ashes topple over. He comes back to the table, sits down, takes one final drag and crushes the butt with the others. Of course it was that mad woman, he says. You shouldn't have answered, said Grandma, drying a pot. Isn't that just the best way to start a book? So I had to have that book. So A Foreign Country is the Past by Fernando's Strigotti. And then the other two books I bought was from At Libris, also on the island of Södermalm. It's called the Pocket at Libris, so it wasn't the big one. I wanted to go to the big one, but it was too icy to walk there. So I went to the little one, and the woman there was the friendliest person ever in a bookshop. So I bought two books there. The first one by Elizabeth Strout named Tell Me Everything. I really enjoy Elizabeth Strout. I bought Olive Kittredge, which was also written by her many years ago when it first came out. And I so enjoyed that book because for the first time I actually read a book where the main character, the main character, Olive, she wasn't, she's such a, I would say mean. Yeah, she was pretty damn mean, but she's the main character and a female, and she just was who she was. She just didn't care. And this is a follow-up, looks like, from that book. I never read anything else from Elizabeth Strout. I just really enjoyed Olive Kittredge. And so when I saw this book, I thought, oh yeah, I love her, so I'm going to pick it up. And then I realized this is a book with Olive Kittredge in it, and she's 90 something years old. It's after COVID. I mean, it's just got really some of the things that I find interesting. It takes place in Maine, and Olive, like I said, is now in her 90s, and she lives in a home. And Lucy is the author that goes and visits her, and Olive and her has lots of conversations. So this is basically it. I already started reading it because it was so good. I started reading it on the train back from Stockholm. So love that book. And then the second one um, I bought it purely for aesthetic reasons. But it also seems like really nice writing in here. It's by Matthew McConaughey, the actor, and it's called Green Lights. And the reason I really bought this book is because I'm always curious about design in books because I publish my own books and I like books that's a bit different. And so when I looked at this book, it has all these really interesting ideas in how you can display your work within a book. And there isn't really much on like colors because I only print black and white. I don't print in color, so there's some color in here, but it really shows very nicely how you can be creative with black and white in your imagery in your books. So that's why I bought the book, but it's also quite an interesting book and a very good read so far. Those were the three books I bought while I was in Stockholm. And oh my gosh, it's snowing again. So I caught a cold in Stockholm and I still have it. So yeah, I thank you so much for watching and I will speak to you all soon. Bye.